When I'm in a counseling session with a couple where there was infidelity, and you ask the cheater if they still love their spouse, or their spouse will say, "How could you do this to me? How could you cheat on me and say you love me at the same time?" When you hear that, it makes no sense, right? I mean, how can someone who looks at themselves as a good moral person be okay with the fact that they cheated? This is something that in psychology we call cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is the uncomfortable tension that a person feels when their actions don't match their beliefs or their values. For example, if I see myself as honest and loyal, but I also engage in cheating, then those two don't match. So when it comes to a cheater, their mind has to do some acrobats to change that. And they do. And that's because the cognitive dissonance is so uncomfortable that their mind actually changes it so that it isn't so comfortable. It minimizes it. And one of the ways that they resolve it is they'll be flexible in how they view it, how they viewed the cheating. So, they'll say things like, "It didn't mean anything," or they'll justify it. They'll say, "My partner wasn't feeling anything and she or he wasn't fulfilling my needs." They do a comparison. At least it's not as bad as something worse. This is especially seen in emotional affairs. Well, at least I didn't really have sex with them. Or blame shifting. You do things like, "If they had paid more attention to me, then I would have never done this to them." Or they do this thing that's moral licensing. "I've been a great partner in every other way, so I don't know why you're so mad about this one thing." Then why it happens is because at the core, all this ego, the cheater's ego, wants to do is get a sense that they are still a good person, that they're not as bad as what this situation is making them feel like they are. So instead of confronting the pain that they made a very bad choice and they acted against their values, they were not loyal, they'll usually stay in this mode unless they're emotionally mature or unless their partner draws a line and says no. Because the reason is, if you stay in this pain of minimizing, of moral licensing, comparisons, then you can't grow. And you will stay stuck in that. And your partner never gets closure that you are aware of what you did. And so the longer the person stays stuck in that, trying to minimize it, or "Why are you bringing this up again?" or trying to make themselves look like it was justified, the more likely it is that the marriage won't be able to work. So instead, the best outcome can be when the cheater is in this cognitive dissonance state, they are in therapy and they can move through it rapidly. Things like writing their partner a letter from their partner's perspective, or talking about why it hurts so bad, how someone that says they're a good person could have made such a bad choice. When you start seeing that the cheater is actually looking more clearly into their behavior for feedback, are they repeating an old pattern that they saw their parents do, that they never quite resolved? Or are they feeling unlovable? Are they feeling bad about themselves? Is their self-esteem suffering? Whatever it is, they have to move out of this stage. If I see a couple in this stage longer than a year after the affair, then it is highly unlikely the marriage will not be able to come together again. Because it basically says that the fear of admitting that for the cheater, that they did a very bad choice and they went against their values, their morals, their selfishness was dominant to their love for their partner, the sooner or the longer they stay in that thinking, the worse the outcome is going to be. Because basically any therapy that the therapist tries to get them to take a hold of, like asking forgiveness, being remorseful, you cannot do if you're still in this state of trying to ease your cognitive dissonance. This has to go first. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.